And often they chalk it up to the education.
They're getting banged by somebody, Brett. It's all play pretend. It sounds good. It sounds good on paper, but again, that's not traditional.
Been a profound, huge cultural shift because marriage is no longer the default for young people. However, people do still want kids. Allegedly, they say that they do. They say that they crave families. They say that they crave big families with 3 or more children. However, they are simply not forming the stable relationships that enable it. And I think that this is an important point to touch on because I think for people, especially on the right, we often talk about how our culture is just so backwards and progressive and, nobody even wants to have a family anymore and everybody's having children out of wedlock. But the truth is, the number of people having children outside of wedlock not being married has not increased. It's just that people are not getting married. So delaying marriage, therefore, means delaying children in our culture. I guess we're still a little bit traditional, good for us, which
just such a dumb Brett, marriage is getting delayed because women want to party before having, and I could see it, clearly, because I think she's pregnant or she had a quick kid. And I don't mean this to be rude, but we need to be honest. We need to be real here. Marriage and family is not the center of your life. It's not the center of Candace's. It's not the center of any of these girls' lives. Because if it was, they wouldn't be doing it. And maybe it's not pragmatic that it is. She can make a bunch of money, have generational wealth for the kids. Again, but it's not what they're selling.
Ultimately leads to higher infertility risks and fewer total births. That right there is the crux of our fertility decline, the fertility crisis that we are seeing in America. So why is that happening? Now we get to get into all of the really interesting socio-cultural stuff that we see on social media, all of the debates, all the discourse between men and women. Now, in another episode, we covered the red pill movement and why men are having a hard time finding women. I'm not sure when we're going to be releasing that episode because this is pre-maternity leave, Brett. But in this episode specifically, I want to get into the femcells and their side of things. But before we keep going, I want to thank today's sponsor. All right, guys, here's the deal. Sainthood is not just for the perfect, it is for the who are either accidentally or intentionally exiting the dating pool, kind of like the flip side to the incels that we see on the internet. These are women who are not dating, and often they chalk it up to the education.
They're getting banged by somebody, Brett. Let's call a spade here.
And financial gap.
And the thing is, we don't talk about social media gives women the attention from men, so we don't need it from a lot of women, we get attention from so many men in our lives, either men in the friend zone, online, whatever. You don't need attention from the husband anymore, unfortunately.
Between the two sexes. And to be fair, a lot has changed in that regard because for centuries, women had always married across and up from their status. But what happens when women start outperforming men? What happens when they become more educated than their male counterparts? Because women now in America in 2025 outpace men in terms of college graduation and advanced degrees. And according to a Bank of America report from back in January, women are also outpacing men in both income and in spending growth. And what this inevitably creates is a bottleneck because women are claiming that there aren't enough high status men to go around because they still want to date across or up from their perceived status, which they define through their education and income, which obviously makes sense. But in my opinion, I think that the bigger issue here is not the college degrees or the income, but it's the fact that these women do not want to get married at all because they require whoever they marry to fit into this box and this life that they have created with no compromises.
Now, again, Brett Cooper married a 6-foot-tall, Aryan-looking white guy worth millions of dollars. This is not to criticize. If anything, that's an inspiration. She went from being emancipated at 16 to marrying into being a celebrity e-girl, marrying into all this wealth, right? But for her to say, ladies, date average men, date the men outside of the box, while having married a guy that's probably 3 points looks higher than her, is a little bit hypocritical, right? I would say that's a bit hypocritical. Candace did the same, we can't,
They are not willing to take any responsibility, to take any kind of accountability. They need you to fit in with them,
Now,
no bending or anything.
To be fair, she cashed out young. And I thought, wow, I'm surprised. I did not think she would cash out young. I did not. I thought she would wait till a little bit older. But here's the e-girl life cycle. If they cash out young, they will give up nothing. And then she took a Fox News commentator position. I thought, well, can't say I'm shocked. Can't say I'm shocked. Why? And then she started posting like personal family stuff on Twitter. And I just thought, well, she's using the family to build the brand. Because when men go to work, like Tucker Carlson is an example. Tucker Carlson goes to work and he just like focuses on the news, right? He just says the news. Now, he does have the occasional family photo, whatever. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't do it at all, like a little bit, fine. But it's women, we just have a tendency that we always use the family and the marriage to help us look like good people. We can never let our actions speak for themselves, right? We have to use the kids and the husband to build our reputation. Now, a lot of the e-girls, they get mad at me. They say, oh, but Pearl, that's good. That's a good thing. Isn't that what we want? We can make the culture better. And I think, well, yeah, but it's at the expense of driving everybody insane around you. I mean, as a man, can we do a poll in the chat? Do you want to be marketing for your girl's Instagram? And I think as women, we just have no idea how many concessions men make in order to make us happy. They have such a need to solve our problems that they say they don't care, but really deep down, I mean, it's kind of like women, when you pretend that you like Bitcoin or whatever, like the random history thing. I'm weird. I like the history stuff, but in general, politics, to appease the guy, but really deep down, we don't make many concessions. So that's all I could think about. I think we give up pretty much nothing to be in relationships. But men give up stuff all the time. They give up their friends, their free time, a lot of times even their family. And now they're giving up their privacy, and that's the future, men giving up their privacy to be in relationships.